What's good, homies? Welcome to the Crack Soccer Podcast, episode number 25. The 2025 Leagues Cup is here and it's underway. Who's looking to make it to phase 2? Go and find out. We're also breaking down the blockbuster MLS transfers with Thomas Mueller and Son. What teams are they going to? Who knows if they'll be good here in the MLS, but we're about to talk about it today. Plus, the MLS has inked some major deals with some major retailers. Is the MLS a legitimate contender for a future powerhouse soccer league, or are they just trying to cash out and make as much money as they can? We'll cover all that and much more on the Crack Soccer Podcast today. You're not going to want to miss it. Tap in,
Capitalism.
Baby. Bang, bang.
Capitalism.
Yes, sir.
Trying to get into soccer.
Boys.
Do you guys know what Human Sung's dad's name is?
Human Papa.
It's Human Dad. I saw that earlier today. I was like, what the hell?
That's probably not true.
I mean, it's not true, but
how we feeling, boys? Peasy.
Feeling like
how
a
we
million
feeling?
Bucks, bro. Feeling good. Lots of soccer this past week. Lots of soccer.
Feeling good?
Lots of soccer.
Chilling?
Lots of football.
Absolutely. Love it, dude. Fern, how we feeling, my guy?
horrible.
¿Por qué? Why?
We'll talk about it later.
Really?
But I'm feeling horrible.
Well, I'm feeling good. I had a pretty decent weekend with everybody, with the fam. As you can see, some battle scores from the weekend. My boy, my son, is an absolute Tasmanian devil. He loves to wrestle. He got me real good. That's all I'm going to say, because he's freaking crazy. So
Those look like adult fingernails.
Nope. It was my 5-year-old son's.
5-year-old, bro. These guys were getting handed.
Dude,
His ass handed to him by a 5-year-old.
Throwing down. Look at this guy. I know, dude. He's quite the work. So, it is what it is. But solid, boys. Let's get right into it. Leaderboard. No changes on the leaderboard, so we don't need to worry about the leaderboard. But for those of you that don't know, it is basically our picks throughout the MLS regular season. Currently sitting in first place, myself. Second place, Lopez, El Chino, and then in dead last, Fern Jimenez. Which is okay. There's still plenty of games to be played, but as for right now, there's no change. So we won't be sharing that, but we'll share that in the next episode with the leaderboard. So thank y'all on that. But getting right into
Pressure?
it.
What pressure?
Getting right into the. Oh, sorry, my hand slipped. Getting right into the correct performances of the week. Always. I'm gonna kick us off. I'm gonna kick us off right here. Listen, there was not any MLS games this past week, so we're gonna have to go with the games that did have MLS teams, which is the Leagues Cup that has been going on this last week. So for me, we discussed the last episode, man. Come on, you're not paying attention,
bro.
Bro. So for my,
we got it.
All right, you can watch episode 24. Just kidding. We'll get into it here in a second. But for my cracked player of the week, I'm going to have to go with Adalberto Coco. Pull it up, baby. Homeboy's been balling out, guys. If you guys don't know him, he plays for Pumas, central mid. He has 3 goals over 2 games. Absolutely been lining up. He had one against Orlando in the 80th minute, but also had a penalty, the winning penalty, for that game during the shootout that happened afterwards, giving them the win, I believe 4-3 in that shootout. Obviously he played super well that game. He had like a 90% accurate pass rating there. He's also been averaging like an 8.3 player rating, so he's been playing very well. And then he had 2 goals against Atlanta in the 62nd and the 89th minute. So guys been balling out. Honestly, he's kind of been keeping Pumas inside of this tournament. They're, I believe, sitting in a relatively positive position in the table right now, so they could make it into the next phase. But a lot of other teams that are also playing well. So we'll kind of see how this team ends up doing. But for Coco Carrasquilla, my crack player of the week. So good on you, man. Hats off to you. Next up, El Chino Lopez.
Man,
who we got, man?
Shouts out to my guy, Gilberto Mora. But this is an MLS podcast, baby. And my cracked player with the most cracked hamstring. Pull it up, baby. Lionel Messi injured in the 10th minute. This is why. Fern, could this be why you are having a bad day?
This is exactly why.
He's done.
Well, I have phantom pain I have phantom pain, and as I was watching him go down, I felt my hamstring just tighten up too. And I haven't been the same since. So, or maybe you know what? On Tuesday after the Tuesday game, my hamstring was killing like for the rest of the week. I think that's what it was. The phantom pain. He felt my pain. Since we're one person, he kind of just was like, "Oh shit, his hamstring's hurting. My hamstring's gone."
Bro, you just have
You
that
just have that
connection.
bond, bro. That's
But,
that kind of bond.
I don't know, man. I have been so back and forth with Messi this entire season, right? Like I was a hater to start the pod. I'm was a lover these last couple of games. I still am. Like, right? He remains the GOAT. Fern, I don't understand the GOAT I am looking at in this, but anyway. Beside the point.
Yeah, he a little messed up, man. I don't know. I don't know about that one.
2 goals during the Leagues Cup, 2 assists, 10 goals over the last 5 games. Goat got injured. Definitely something to call out, right? Does it come as a surprise? We were talking about it all season, right? He had some issues or difficulties there earlier in the season, and this might be just it coming back full force. I hope this isn't it for the season for Messi, but only time will tell. We'll see how his hamstrings and go on to the next game, and hopefully he makes a full recovery.
Imagine if he played the All-Star game. His freaking. Have you seen those videos of the people that cook like the chicken and then or the meat and it just slides off the bone? That would have been his legs if he played the All-Star game. So.
Dang, dude, that tender,
no, man,
bro.
because
Jeez,
the whole reason he
up.
got injured is because they had to suspend him that one game. He got a little bit too cold, needed to be working that leg out a little bit more, bro. And now this is the result. Messi, this is what happens. This is what happens when you don't play the All-Star game.
Love that, dude.
You did mention my boy Gilberto Mora. Did you guys hear what happened? My guy got trolled, bro. Yeah.
Why don't you tell us about it, man?
Because he was supposed to get my boy Royce's jersey.
Oh, okay.
He was asked who he was trading jerseys with or if they could have his jersey, and he's like, sorry, Marco Royce has already given me his jersey, or he wants to switch with me. And then he goes to the locker room and his teammates tell him, hey, we were just messing with you, bro. He doesn't want your jersey. He already traded it with somebody else. So
they did him so dirty, bro.
Like, yeah, I mean, how does that make you feel, bro? I mean, at the end of the day, like, it is what it is. He's the young buck, right? You got to kind of, initiation type of deal. But dang, man, how sad would you be if they said, "Hey, Royce wants your jersey, bro.
Hit me up. I'll give you the jersey."
Like you said, somebody wanted to jersey swap with him. He's like, "Sorry, bro, I can't." Is that
one? He was like signing something, and I think like a fan or something asked for his jersey. If I'm correct, he was like, "Sorry, Royce already aased for it."
Want to look like a dick, bro? He's just like, "Oh yeah, sorry." And then somebody caught it on.
Yeah,
camera,
maybe.
And they're like, damn, no, I gotta.
Maybe. Honestly, though, he was pretty like for like the little section where they asked him. He was pretty. What's the word? Like respectful about it. Yeah, he was just like, you know what? Yeah, they messed with me, so screw
he's
him.
still young and innocent, bro. He's not gonna come out and like obviously seem kind of a dig about it. So
I need Royce to send something to him. Send him a jersey.
There you go. That's the only way to make it right. We need to see a tweet come out from Royce. Obviously making it right. So maybe we'll see.
Playing pretty well. I didn't even realize that he played for Tigres until the first game that they played, when I was trying to like see who's going to be dangerous for the teams and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly surprised. I don't watch too much Atletico Madrid, but I know he used to play there, and if you've played FIFA at all in the past, he's been a really good player on Ultimate Teams. Crazy to see him on Tigres, but he's been popping off. And I wanted to show this thing too, because I don't know, I think I sent it in the group chat or something. I don't remember. But here, let me show you this. There's kind of a thing, so we'll have to get rid of it post. But look at this goal. Look at. Let me start over. Look at number 6 over here. What is he doing? Look at this. Boom.
Jeez, he almost messed that one up, dude.
Nah, bro, that was all on purpose.
Go back. Hold on, look. Listen. He had him in the first one. Just go left. Like,
no, bro, you gotta be extra, dude. He's like me, bro. He doesn't have a left foot. He's got to keep it on the right. So that's why.
Hey, that's That was very good. That was very good.
They didn't show like the very first half of it, and that from that angle it looks a bit weird. But what happened was number 6 for Houston, I believe, tried to pass it back to the goalie, but didn't put enough huevos behind it. So Angel Correa just ran to it, and
Making the MLS look bad.
that's
bro.
what
I
happens.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know how many times we got to talk about that.
Jeez.
You don't
Yeah.
do that kind of thing, man. Anyways, but you keep talking about Argentines. So at the end of the day, I think maybe you're Argentinian deep down, to be honest.
He does love
So-
Germans too, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm like Santi Jimenez, bro. I'm Argentinian, but I just chose to represent Mexico. So
There you go. Fern el Argentino. That's what we'll call you.
change my last name from a J to a G. There you go.
It is
There you
Argentina,
go,
too,
yeah.
but it is also the German teams, which is like hilarious to me, bro. Like there is, you know, why there's so many white Argentines? Yes. Okay. If you don't know, go look it
Yes.
up. Google is free.
You know, I don't think we've ever talked about this before, but have you ever seen a colored person in the Argentinian national team? Like, think back. I've never.
There probably has been, but it's probably like, it's probably
Yeah. Before the Second World War.
Exactly.
That's
dude.
why Argentina's a
Yeah,
powerhouse,
that's
bro. They
actually-
have a lot of those German genes now, just like bringing those. Oh man, it is.
Yeah.
It's a
Well,
powerhouse.
Germany is a powerhouse. So, anyways, we're getting off topic here, and we're definitely gonna go on a giant rabbit hole if we continue on to this conversation. We'll have to discuss that another time. Going on to the next segment here, the correct game of the week. We don't individually have one. We're gonna kind of have a general consensus or a unanimous game here. Two very good games that happened over the week. So to start us off, Inter Miami versus Necaxa. Not sure if you guys saw this, but quite the interesting game because it does include your cracked player there, Chino. It includes Leo Messi and that injury that happened in the first 10 minutes of this game. So after 10 minutes, homeboy did get fouled, obviously got injured, got called off outside of the game. He was able to walk it off, so I don't believe it's anything too serious. Let's hope. Hopefully it's something that he can get over very, very quickly. But, obviously that game was very interesting, just given that it ended up tying 2-2 and going into the penalty shootout, as well as another game that we were going to point out, the Cruz Azul versus Seattle game, where Seattle absolutely thrashed Cruz Azul 7-0. If you haven't heard about it, I'd be surprised because, holy smokes, from my perspective, Seattle saw what Cruz Azul did to Vancouver in the CONCACAF Champions Cup and said, hold my beer. I'm going to take these guys out.
This is what happens when you don't have altitude as an
there you go.
advantage.
This is what happens when you mess with an MLS team. Here it goes, bang bang, and they mauled them 7-0. So two very good games. We can definitely discuss them, but very good games over the last week. Those are our two correct games of the week. Why don't we start it off with Inter Miami? Obviously, your boy Messi got hurt. This game goes to penalties. I believe you, Fern, mentioned something about DePaul having to step up, and I believe he might have this game.
Yeah, no, he was pretty good. I believe he got 2 assists, right? Let me see. I'm trying to go to the stats. He got both assists. One of them was he just crossed it in. The other one was kind of headed to him. So they're pretty good assists. He was the player of the game according to FootMob. So yeah, I mean he did what he needed to do. I feel like he plays really well. He took over basically Messi's role once he had to leave. He was kind of just all over the place. And can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm freaking. You guys are like just staring at me. You guys are all lagged up on my side, so I was like, "Oh, these guys, I don't know what's going on."
Lagging, bro.
But yeah, no, that he popped off. Segovia had a sick goal. Like the assist went to DePaul, but he just handed the ball off to him, and Segovia did everything. He got that shot in the back corner, and Jordi Alba scored a header somehow. And yeah, I mean, aside from those, I don't know. You guys watched the game at all? Did you guys see the red card for Falcon?
Yeah, I saw that card. Falcon. I think it was, absolute garbage. I mean, come on, you can't really. I mean, I believe you think it was given because he was somewhat of a last man that's probably why. Like he kind of denied a goal scoring opportunity.
Honestly, if you ask me, and if you watch the footage after I tell you this, maybe you'll think the same thing. But I feel like the forward ran into him, and he kind of just didn't like budge,
Right.
and the guy fell. So I don't think he did anything wrong. I feel like the contact came from the offensive player and not from him. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, I think that was interesting. I also think when you kind of watch that back, and I don't know if we have a clip about it. If you guys can find one, like, cool. But if not, no worries. I almost feel, and this is something that we've discussed before, where I don't think the back line or the defense on Miami is very strong. It almost felt like Falcon gave up on that play. Like, I feel like he knew somebody was there, but he didn't believe that they were going to get the ball or potentially score, and he almost somewhat gave up on that play. And clearly, he gets the card, he gets the foul. Is it a foul? I don't think so, but he almost kind of seems like to slow down and kind of just be like, okay, well, let's see what happens. Like, I'll let the goalie take care of it. But I feel like he kind of just let go.
check this out.
Like, he just kind of, like, why stop? You know what I mean? Like, that was just kind of interesting. But yeah,
Look at this.
what do you think, man?
Look at that.
I mean, did he grab his waistband? Like, we see the arm placement there.
I mean, barely of anything. I mean, if they VAR check that, in my opinion, worst case scenario, it's a yellow. But there's no way it's a red. Like, I understand last man and stuff like that, but I feel like there's also some discretion to it. Like, that definitely was not a red card to me. And I don't know what you guys think about this, or if you saw the Mascherano interview after. But he was basically saying, like, in all my years of playing football and my short career of being a manager, I've never had to play a game where the referee is the same nationality as the team. So he was kind of being like,
mention that. I heard about that. Is that really like not a thing? And that is interesting that he mentioned that, because I do know that they try to make it so that the ref is not the same nationality as the teams that are playing, especially like in the World Cup. And I understand that, right? You obviously have that clear bias, but I feel like that's really difficult to do with regular club games. I could be wrong, but
I mean, I guess
you can't tell me that they don't have English refs reffing Premier League games. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, that makes sense to me. Like, but maybe they have, like, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, he was complaining about it. I don't know anything about it. I was like, okay, you know what? That kind of makes sense. Obviously, if it's like an MLS versus Liga MX, and then you have a Mexican ref. But I don't think it had anything to do with it. But it is weird to me that they didn't even check VAR. If it's like a red card or something, you want to be sure. If it's a goal, you want to be sure. So
throw the challenge flag.
Exactly. No, I agree. Hey, there you go. See, that would have been a perfect time to use it, dude. We spoke about that last week, about potentially having, or La Liga implementing that for this upcoming season. So very interesting. But yeah, obviously that game was very interesting. Cruz Azul, though, you guys, 7-0. Very, very crazy. Cruz Azul was named the top CONCACAF club team. And then after that, obviously, they kind of just get blown out by Seattle Sounders 7-0. Not just 7-0, but 7 goals in one half, fellas. No goals were scored in the first half. All 7 of these goals were scored in the second half of this game.
That was
absolutely
nuts.
Cruz
Azul right there, baby.
Dude, I know. And I couldn't believe it, man. It was such a crazy thing to see. They also had 6 different people score goals, which is insane, because you typically would expect somebody to maybe get a hat trick there. But 6 different players from Seattle scoring goals.
Can I show this one crazy goal that they had?
Yeah, I was just about to mention. And the very last game, a Puskas worthy goal, I think. Absolutely amazing.
Did you see this, Lopez?
By Tolo.
Oh, yeah.
Boom. And you know what's crazy about this is I saw an angle, but pay attention to the ball. Here, I'm gonna put up my settings. Or is it HD on your guys' end?
It's. I mean, you're sharing. It's not going to be that amazing.
Okay. But pay attention to the ball. You notice anything?
Well, it went up and down. So
it never touched the net.
Oh, it hit the 2 posts?
Yeah, it just hit the post, post, and out. It never touched the net. So I saw another. Really? I saw another angle of it, and I was like, "Dang, that's crazy! I've never seen that before." So
I think what's also
just
cool
a goal that never touched the net, because
that
was like the way it bounces is interesting. But go ahead, I cut you off.
No, I was just saying, like, I think the cool thing too about this one is not just the finish, but that pass that was made. Was that? Who passed that ball? Excuse me. Who passed that ball? I don't know who gave that assist, but that pass is so difficult to do, and it's so amazing that
I
physical
believe it
player
was
can hit it.
Rusnak. I'm gonna
Was
double
it
check.
Rusnak?
I believe I'm gonna double check the footage.
Okay, because that, I
But
mean, to give a pass like that, that's so difficult to do, and to give it to like such a good placement to where you can hit it like that, and obviously score a goal, just chef's kiss, bro. It was amazing. But yeah, very, very good games that we kind of watched there. Inter Miami versus Necaxa, and then the Cruz Azul versus Seattle game.
it was
Awesome games.
Roldan. Sorry.
Roldan.
Yeah,
Got it.
Roldan. Yeah.
Solid. So very good games there. We're going on to the next segment here, to the pour one out section. Obviously, we're gonna pour one out for something, someone, some team, some player that did not play very well. I'll kick us off, guys, and I'm gonna. Again, I don't know how many games you guys have watched during this whole thing, but even in that last, obviously awesome finish, right? Seattle, obviously a very good team. Cruz Azul, a top team in Liga MX. Is there anything that you guys notice in this image other than that amazing goal?
There's nobody in the
stand out to you guys?
freaking stands.
Anything else? Go ahead and unshare, Fern. My pour one out. The U.S. soccer fan base. If you are not watching the Leagues Cup, what the hell are you doing? How can you even call yourself a fan of soccer while being in the MLS? The Leagues Cup was created to not have any ties, to go into penalty shootouts, and to get points. This is everything that people want in soccer. No ties, goals, wins. That's all we want. And you guys are not watching it? Y'all got to find a way to watch this game.
Where were you guys on
TV.
Wednesday?
I was at the game. So listen, if you're not watching this on TV, if you're not at the games, what the hell are you doing? Leagues Cup, y'all got to tune in. So that's my pouring out to the U.S. soccer fans that are not watching these games, because they're absolutely electric. So many games, so many good games, so many good teams. Y'all have to tune in. Y'all have to watch. Come on, let's not be lame here. That is my pouring out.
Bro, making money, bro. That's all I'm doing.
No, bro, I was he's talking to you, money, bro.
That's what I'm doing.
I was working.
I'm out here grinding. But that brings up my pour one out, the POO of the week. Bringing on another fan base. If you haven't seen this, it is magical. Let me just share this screen really quick. Míralo. Minnesota. Hold on, we got a little different angle here. Y un guamazo para mi compa Harvey here.
Oh my gosh.
They did a Harvey
him
bad,
dirty,
man.
bro. Minnesota game versus Club America, which is sad because you'd imagine that was like the game ender, bro. That was it for Club America for that one. That it was a wrap. No, Club America came back and won that in PKs, bro. They were just I get it. Yes, like was Harvey and some of the Minnesota players flexing on them a little bit. Sure. But again, these guys are balling. They're enjoying the tournament. They're part of it. They let the excitement get to it. If you're a fan, like, don't throw shit at these people. Like, don't throw shit on the pitch. Like, be a little bit more respectful than that. Have some decorum. Use your chance.
Unless it's your underwear.
But have some decorum. Like, I don't know. Like, I just, like, love to see how absolutely, and I'm sure there might be fights. I don't know if you guys saw that RSL fight that's been circulating the internet. Like, I'm sure there's fights in most sports games, leagues around the world. But like one thing that I love to see is just like how absolutely filthy the chants are in some of these like premier leagues, where like fans are just getting down and they're just insulting with like sheer words. And yes, there is some horrible stuff that happens, some horrible stuff that gets thrown to the pitch and stuff like that. But I would just love to see that come out and be like just more get at fans with like your own chants, with your traditions, with your like team's swagger and culture, if you will. But yeah, Club America, bad look, makes you my poo of the week. But yeah, and then also Harvey, I would say go ice your neck, but you got enough ice on that neck for that week, buddy.
Nice. Yeah, dude, that's a solid call out. I mean, obviously there's a lot of Club America fans in the United States because every single game they've been to, they've been packing that stadium, which is insane. But I have to agree with you. I have to mention this, like, don't throw things onto the field. Don't throw things onto the players. I get this guy probably was a couple of drinks deep. Maybe that's why that happened. But thank goodness that was a plastic cup, because if that was a can or a bottle, dude, that would have been a different story.
No,
for
and
sure.
and there was more than that one that was thrown. There was like a lot of stuff that was being thrown on the pitch before that. It was the fans were getting rowdy. It was crazy. They're all getting wild. But again, just like get wild, but have some decorum. Find other ways to let that be your outlet. But Fernando,
for sure.
Right? Without further ado, round us out.
Round us out,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's me. You know what? I'm gonna pour one out.
Did this man just pour one out on his junk?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I'm pouring one out for the entire MLS, unfortunately. So I don't know. What do you mean? What do you mean, bro? They're getting cooked out here in this Leagues Cup, man. They're over here. All these teams. Charlotte's losing to FC. Juarez. Freaking somehow LA Galaxy won against Tijuana. The first day did not go very well. What was it, like 3-6 games and only one?
What US
team
won? Yeah, bro.
CF
Montreal being the only win is wild.
Yeah.
And that first day, first day.
That is wild.
And I mean, since then they've kind of been back. San Diego lost to Tigres, Los Angeles lost to Pachuca, Toluca won. I wish they were doing better. Obviously, they can't win every single game. It was just like embarrassing per se, like to go into the first match day and you get cooked by all the Liga MX team. This is basically let's see what teams are better, MLS teams or Liga MX teams. And I mean, a lot of these games do go to penalties, and penalties is a little bit like, who's gonna, you don't know exactly who's gonna win, but most of the time, the people coming out on top on these PKs are the Liga MX team. So hopefully they can do better from here on out, because as soon as the knockout rounds come out, it's gonna be kind of tough if we watch a Liga MX team come out and win. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Solid. No, it's a good one. It's a good. Go ahead.
Because do we have like the total games played? Like how many games has MLS won versus Liga MX? Sorry if you mentioned it.
Yeah, they have that somewhere. You can go ahead and try to pull that one up, Fern, if you can. But just to kind of go off of that point, we'll kind of get right into this next segment here, into the headlines with the Leagues Cup, the 2025 edition of the Leagues Cup. Obviously, Fern kind of touched on that. MLS not having a strong start to this tournament. But it's a little bit interesting of a take, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, because right now, if you're looking at the standings, MLS somewhat leads, right, in terms of points. Yes, they probably have some teams that have not been playing well, but we all anticipated a couple of those. But Seattle and Portland are perfect. Okay, they have 6 points. Miami is right behind them with 5, and then you have Minnesota with 4. So you can argue that there's some pretty good teams still. Liga MX is doing well like they normally do. We all kind of expected that. Tigres on the very top with 6 points. Juarez with 5, Mazatlan with 5, and Toluca with 5. So those are the top 4. But then also, you have a lot of different people, a lot of different teams underneath them that can still make it to that knockout stage, right? So if we're kind of looking at, I had this somewhere. Where did it go? 1 second. If we're kind of looking at best performing teams, again, Seattle Sounders, Portland, Inter Miami for the MLS. Liga MX probably has Tigres as kind of that sole front runner. And then for the MLS, they have a couple people tied here. Sorry, I have Liga MX pulled up, but they have Juarez, Cruz Azul, Monterrey, Guadalajara, that have obviously been showing some of that resilience with some wins and PKs. I don't know, man. It's pretty neck and neck. I don't know, man. If you ask me,
too much of the MLS. 13 wins to Liga MX, 10 wins. You're a father who expects too much, Fern. I think Liga MX is having a strong showing, but the MLS is just.
You sound like the Sounders fans during the Club World Cup.
Bro. What do you want this to be? A blowout?
What?
I mean, it should be right. Like for me,
yes,
being in the US, following the MLS, hoping that this thing grows to be something more. Yes, I would like to see the MLS absolutely just destroy Liga MX. I would love to see the MLS just absolutely dominate and be able to take on some of these like Premier Leagues, some of these European leagues. How dope would that be? But alas, here we are in the semi-competitive, realistic realm that we currently exist in. I like it.
Right.
I think both leagues are performing at a high caliber. We love to see it because, yes, as an MLS fan, I would love to see it be more one-sided for the MLS. But bias aside, it's been a good tournament, and but still, all respect to my boy Fern out there with his take, though.
It is interesting, though. I think a lot of we probably guessed half and half with the teams that we expected to do very well, right? Because when we kind of called this with that bracket challenge, obviously Tigres is going to play well. They're a very strong team. Toluca, they won the past 2 Liga MX seasons. Very strong team, right? And then you have Pachuca, that's been very well. America, they're not going away. The ones that I'm surprised with are Juarez and Mazatlan, to be completely honest with you guys. And then the Wrexham 2.0, Necaxa, that has been staying somewhat competitive. They have 4 points, right, in this whole season. So those are a little bit interesting. But even in the MLS side, because we know these teams a lot more, Seattle and Portland on top of this side of the bracket is kind of nuts. Miami and Minnesota, we kind of expected to have pretty good tournament. But Columbus, Orlando, Cincinnati, I mean, they're tied. They have 4 points. But for them to drop points was pretty insane. And then I think the one that I think is absolutely nuts, and you guys will probably agree to this, San Diego's out, boys. They're done.
Someone take down that
this
TikTok
Leagues
or that
Cup.
Instagram where I was saying that San Diego's going to win this and the MLS Cup final, bro. Because no mames, bro. That disappointing showing. But again, man, like we've talked about a couple episodes ago, any given Sunday, man, it is fascinating to me that a team that is as recognized and as good as Cruz Azul could get goleado like that by the Sounders of all teams, right? If you would have told me that, oh, Philly did that or Inter Miami did that, I'd be like, oh, damn, that's still impressive, but more expected. But the Sounders, it's wow.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Any given Sunday, I feel like these teams can just, show you what's up.
So I know we already got off the topic a little bit, but I went and I hand counted everything. Including ties. Obviously, there's no ties. There is ties. Just somebody gets an extra point, so we'll call it a win. But including the ties and the wins, it's 16 for the MLS and 20 for Liga MX.
In terms of wins,
in terms of losers, only getting 1 point, and winners.
Yeah,
so
there you go, man. Thanks for tallying that up.
There you go.
I redact my statement.
Chat GPT isn't always right, Lopez.
No. Here, let me show you. It was Gemini.
Even worse.
It's because I asked chat and it gave me the same thing. So I want to do it by hand. So
well, I mean, you wear glasses, so you also probably could have miscalculated. So who knows?
Don't you wear glasses?
No, he doesn't.
You got contacts in your eyes right now.
No.
Good
what the heck?
Well, I apologize to everyone out here. I
2020,
apologize to Fern because it did come up that as of right now, of the 2025 results, is 13 wins for the MLS, 10 for the Leagues Cup as of August 4th. So disappointing. Don't trust AI. It's making us number. Also,
yeah, you definitely got to feed it some information. Just got to make it, get the best available information. But, like I said, so kind of going into the Leagues Cup a little bit here. You mentioned a lot of these shootouts, and just so you're, I'm going to test you here, PZ. I know you're the newer guy here. How many ties have gone on in this Leagues Cup? Do you know how many games have ended in the tie?
Cup? Specifically, in regular time or in the game?
Yeah, in this Leagues Cup. How many games have ended in a tie? Oh, dude, he's paying attention. He's paying attention.
At the end of regulation, I don't know, but going into PKs,
13 ties.
He's paying attention here, ladies and gentlemen. Good job, my guy. There have been 13 ties, so 13 penalty shootouts so far in this tournament, which is awesome. I think it's super fun to see and to watch. We've mentioned this before. You guys like to see PKs? You guys think it's a very good way to end? I think it's a very interesting tournament to kind of make sure that all tied games, go to PKs. I'm assuming you guys have been enjoying that. Yes.
I'd rather have them play rock, paper, scissors.
Best out of 3.
Rochambeau it.
Or have you seen that power slap stuff? You just pick one person, the captains just come in and boom, first one to get knocked out loses.
Hey, I think you're on something, man. Let's go ahead and make that happen.
Just kidding. No, the PKs, it's again, I feel like the better teams don't want to go to PKs because you're not guaranteed to win. Anytime a team I like goes into PKs, I just get scared because I'm like, I mean, I'm not gonna say it's luck. Obviously, it's a lot of skill and a lot of thing, but there is like
Mental factor.
yeah, like it's a lot of pressure and like it's really it's very like it's nice because you get like that freaking like adrenaline of like, oh my gosh, what's gonna go on, and then you sit in the cold for like an hour and like 30 minutes just to see your team get kicked out of the MLS playoffs in the freaking winter.
Yep, by Minnesota in Utah. Quick little story for you guys here. I think I've asked you guys this before. If you guys have ever been a part of a penalty shootout, you guys have like experienced, like seen them, right? But I wanted to share a quick little story with you guys about the very first penalty shootout that I was ever a part of. I believe, God, I had to have been maybe 10, 11, maybe 12. I don't know, something like that. I remember it so vividly. Anyways, so I'm playing a game. It's a competitive game. Me and obviously my team, and then we play this other team. It happened up in Logan, obviously like up in North Logan, kind of. We were playing the game. The game ends up being tied. I believe this was like somewhat towards the end of the season, so we had to like go to penalties. First time I've ever been like a part of a penalty shootout. I was like, dude, I don't even know what the hell we're gonna do. Like, what? I don't even know how you can tell me we win. Anyways, we get everything lined up. We get everything situated. They decide to have me shoot last, so I'm fifth. And so we go, right? We're going. And Fern, you can probably ask, I think Bethel was on this team, so you can ask Jose about this one if you ever wanted to. Anyways, we go. Okay. I'm like just kind of chilling, hanging out. First shot, make. Okay, we go in second. Sorry. So we're going second. We're shooting second. First shot, make. Second shot, make. Make. They miss their fifth shot, right? So it's 4-4, and they missed the fifth. I'm up. I'm up for fifth shot, dude. I honestly, to be completely honest with you, I think in the moment I didn't know that if I made this shot, we would win. I had no clue. I was like, just make this damn shot. Anyways, I'm walking up to the penalty shootout, to the penalty spot. And I get up there, set the ball down, look at the goalie. The goalie is completely on the left side of the goal. Like, he's leaving the entire right side of this goal wide open.
He's calling you a B word, bro.
And I was like, yo, what is this guy doing? I was almost going to I almost wanted to tell him like, yo, you're not in the middle. But I was like, whatever. Anyways, I think it messed with my head a little bit because I saw it and I was like, hey, I'm going to shoot to the right because he's leaving this whole side open. So I get up there, take my steps back. I look up, look on the right side of the freaking goal. Whistle goes. I run up and I'm going, go right. Boom. I hit it. Goalie gets a hand, slides off, and it goes in.
He got you. Oh, it goes in. Oh, damn, he got you.
Slides off and it goes in, dude. And we ended up winning that penalty shootout. First one I've ever been a part of. And yeah, I got dogpiled like crazy, and we ended up winning the game. We ended up winning the season, which was awesome. But damn, dude, I was like, dude, that is the mental factor of the penalty shootout. It's so nuts that it can kind of affect you in that way and make you second guess.
Now imagine having to take a penalty, and if you miss, people are going to clown you for missing the penalty and losing the trophy that you've been looking for the last 30 years.
Death threats, bro. Like, could you imagine? I mean, I was, like I said, 10, 12, something like that. I can't imagine being like 16, 17, having to have that situation and just missing. Anyways, that was just my little take on the penalty shootouts. Super cool situation, right? But something that's been brought up around the Leagues Cup is just the fact that there's been so many games played for these MLS teams and that they've been playing a lot of games. I did pull up a little fact sheet. I don't know if you guys have seen it in the document that I shared out, but if you look at this, I believe this is somewhat of older data. It's from the 2021-2022 season. It's a little bit dated. But if you look at this data, if your argument over why the hell did we do Leagues Cup, it's so dumb, it's just giving players, teams more games, they're more tired, et cetera, the MLS averages fewer games than almost all the other leagues, including the Bundesliga, Serie A, La Liga, Premier League, all those. Like, they play way less games. So I think that's a very weak argument to say that, like, hey, they're going to have too many games. I think it's got to be like, hey, find a better argument.
But those players are literally built for that. Like,
what are you trying to say?
I'm just trying to say that the MLS players are not built for that kind of competition. No, they're not. I'll
And
tell you that much.
The only way that
Bro,
they
the fact
get
that
to that
the-
level
the-
is to play more games
The
against
fact
tougher
that
teams.
all of Inter Miami players were cramping up and the freaking PSG
but
players
they
were
have the
literally
retirement players.
Nah, even the young players were cramping up.
Let's
Well,
go
my
back,
guys are
let's
running
go back
Just
to
more.
pay
the point, bro.
attention.
The MLS is
Nah.
a
Freaking
retirement
trying to
league,
play-
bro. Of course, Grandpa isn't going to be able to keep up with the young guns up in the European leagues.
I just think it's a bit of a ridiculous statement to be like, "Oh, there's too many games." Like, dude, there's 34 games in a season. Leagues
38.
Cup, is it 38?
That's what it says on your stat thing.
No, like I said, this is dated.
Oh, okay.
This is dated, but this is also
Oh.
like an average over the year of the calendar
Okay.
year. Because I believe there's 34 in the regular season of this year. So
Uh-huh.
if you include like the 3 games of Leagues Cup, that's what 4, 5, 6, 7, 37, and then if they played in the U.S. Open, which MLS teams have a decision, 37 games for the year. Like, that's if you don't make it to the playoffs, right? Like, it's not a lot of games in my opinion. Like, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm like, yeah, that's a lot of games. But like, if you kind of look at these teams where Manchester City, Barcelona, Real Madrid, like they're just playing so many different games. Like, dude, come on. Like, you can play more games. We can have this tournament. It's fine. Anyways, I just thought that was a little bit of an interesting take because I like the fact that the League Cup's going on and I like this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, what I don't know. Here, let me ask real quick, because I know there's like 38 games now in La Liga season. Because I usually watch and it's 38, 36. So I guess that one you shared is a bit dated because there it says it's 46. So it looks like they dropped down 10 less games.
Yeah, look up how many they have scheduled for the 25-26 season.
Yeah, so let's see. So they play 8 so they play the 36 games plus if you're in the Champions League, you play 8 matches, and if you make it to the final, that's another 4 games. So that's 12 games on top of the 36 that you're playing.
It's a home and away.
Oh yeah, no, well this is
7.
It says 8 matches.
No, I'm
Okay.
sorry. If they make it to the
yeah, you're right. They do have the 2. So yeah, 7 games plus 8 is what, 17? No, sorry, 15. And so yeah, so 15 plus 36 is 51, and then they have to play the Leagues Cup or like their home court cup, whatever it is, the freaking Copa del Rey, Super Copa, and then on top of that, if you're a good player, you're playing for your national team, so they're probably playing like 80 something games. And just to bring it back to the fact that I don't think the MLS even gets close to having to play like 80 or 90 games in a season. So it kind of makes sense why they complain. And even like the players out in Europe complain. They're like, hey, you guys are we're
they have a reason.
too much. Yeah.
They have a reason. I think they play way too many games, but like the fact that the US, like the MLS only has the MLS regular season, US Open Cup, and then the Leagues Cup. I mean, that's like it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like we're overdoing it or anything. I think it's fine. I think it's, much needed. So all in all, to say that I like the Leagues Cup. I like the new format. I love the fact that it's kind of continuing that Mexico-US MLS Liga MX rivalry. And you see it. You see it in every single game. You see it especially in these Club America games where people are chucking beer at people. And it's like, dude, this is awesome. This is sick.
Yeah.
Does it need to happen every year? Maybe not. Maybe it's every other year. But either way,
it is crazy to me though that they basically since last Tuesday they played all week up until yesterday, took a day off today, and they're playing Tuesday all the way up until Thursday, taking a day off, at least for the MLS teams. I don't know about Liga MX. So taking Friday off, and then you play Saturday, Sunday again. So you're literally like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm just lazy, so it makes me feel like it's a lot of games. But
yeah, I mean it's a lot of games for sure. And then obviously Liga MX just starting their season, so they're kind of just finding their rhythm, right?
Yeah.
But again, I think they should complain less because I mean they haven't been playing 18 or so games already, so they should be a lot more healthy, a lot more fresh.
Back
Yeah.
it.
They shouldn't be
Give
complaining
us
about
5 more
it.
tournaments.
Anyways, that's my take on
what
that.
I want
Go
to
ahead.
see MLS. Give us 5 more tournaments per year.
Dude, I would love to see like a best in the West, like a Western Conference in-season tournament, the Beast in the East, like Eastern Conference, like in-season tournament. Like that would be sick. You know what I mean? Like just to kind of keep it like that, I guess. Maybe I don't know. But I do also love the fact that they have like the U.S. Open Cup where they can compete against the lower division teams. But they can get creative with that. I feel like that's super cool. So, solid stuff there, boys. Let's go into the next little topic here. Let's go ahead and talk about a couple of the deals that the MLS has been working on over the last few weeks. Not sure if you guys have heard about this, but Walmart as well as Amazon has invested in the MLS. So starting off with Walmart, obviously they kind of entered into a multi-year partnership where they're going to be investing into U.S. soccer, dedicating a lot of programming around televised MLS matches, specifically on Saturdays. And they're also going to launch like a creator network. Walmart, if you guys,
We are here. We are here. We are here.
we're creators.
Yeah. I buy Pokemon cards from you guys all the time. Come on.
And so obviously they're going to have, that network and some curated soccer shopping experiences, obviously all ahead of the 2026 World Cup. So super cool to see that. And then Amazon inking a deal where a lot of the MLS highlights and some archive games will be available on Amazon Fire TV. So very interesting deals, boys. I'm curious on your guys' thoughts on these deals being made. I believe we've talked about this in the past, but just curious, how y'all feel about some of these, big organizations getting their hands on a piece of the soccer pie here in the U.S.
For me personally, anytime somebody with a lot of money starts investing in something, it's usually a good sign. They're like, okay, you know what? We see growth in this. We see that it's an up and coming thing. So I'll always think it's a good thing to see a Walmart and an Amazon investing in the MLS in whatever way they can, whether it's getting more like merch, like teams shirts out into like a Walmart or something like that, where it's more accessible to find something for a fan to be able to buy. Yeah, more money. Because honestly, for like at least for me, where I live, there's no sports stores. There's just
Right.
Walmarts. If I wanted to go buy like a jersey or something, I'd have to drive probably like an hour away from here, and even then they're more likely than not gonna have any soccer related stuff besides maybe a couple RSL things, just because we're out in Utah. So hopefully like Walmart can get some more of these teams or like merch things out, so you can see more fans wanting to. Obviously, it's to make money. They're gonna want that, but you get more of your image out there, and they're like, "Oh, where'd you get that shirt? Or what is that?" Like, I'm curious as to what this team is, and like I was up in Monroe, Utah, this weekend, and on the way back, I saw this old white man with an Inter Miami sticker in his truck, and I was like, "What the heck?" It's the most random Inter Miami fan I've ever seen. But
What,
yeah,
an old white man can't be an Inter Miami fan, bro?
no, bro, they're all Cubans.
Oh, nice, solid, dude. Yeah, that's
No,
sick.
man, I think
Chino,
it was
what's your
interesting
take,
with
bro?
you mentioning the creators like fund or whatever that they're doing there with Walmart. Looking at it, it's because the MLS composes the youngest fan base of all sports leagues. So, fun fact: Gen Zers and Millennials, and more than 30% of the MLS fan base are Hispanic. So, good looks for the upcoming fans in the MLS. Again, I don't want to take it down that avenue. I really hope that the fan bases continue to grow beyond Messi, beyond some of these big names, but like we just start developing some really awesome talent here within the MLS. But interesting to see that Walmart is positioning themselves in such a way to be able to attract and maybe maintain some of these younger fans and also engage them where they're at, which is like TikTok and YouTube and so on and so forth.
For sure. No, and you make a good point too. You kind of mentioned like the younger generations are very into this, this is a sport. It's funny too because when we were growing up, when we were kind of in school, I would say soccer was popular-ish. I mean, there was people that like watched it somewhat. Obviously, you guys did because we're all friends and buddies, right? That played it. But a lot of other folks probably didn't get into it as much as probably they do now. My wife's a school teacher, and I will say that a lot of the kids that are coming up that are kind of in high school, middle school, they're way into soccer, like a lot more than we ever were. So it will be very interesting to see these companies, like I said, like you mentioned, capitalize on this younger generation, getting them kind of into this sport, getting them into the MLS and making it grow and become something that, maybe nobody would have thought possible, right? So
It is.
I think it's a step in the right
Please,
direction.
like Fern was saying about Walmart making like maybe some of this sports wear a little bit more accessible. Make the MLS more accessible. Let's get some more great homegrown talent in there, because as more of these kids come up, as more of them start falling in love with the sport, I know that there is some talent that just wouldn't have the opportunity to maybe pay the thousands of dollars that it takes to be recognized here playing, especially like even in Utah, like where we're at. It's insane how much money you got to spend to like be on these teams and be recognized and really to get that development. So side tangent there, with all these sponsorships, with all of this growth, hopefully you have more avenues to make money where you don't have, like, I don't know, like it's always good. It's always going to be a business. There's always going to be people making money from this, but I just would love to see more avenues for the MLS to be able to say, let's search some more of this talent now that they have money coming in from like Walmart and these other areas.
Yeah. And you make a good point. I think maybe in another episode, we can kind of dig into, kind of these academies, kind of these, leagues or teams that younger generations can kind of get into and kind of go down that and see kind of how we differ from, Europe and everybody else that has this, but more accessible, more free, if you will. So that would be very interesting to get into for sure. But yeah, we'll kind of see what happens with these deals. Probably a lot more MLS merch coming to Walmart, maybe a lot more eyeballs for MLS content coming to Amazon. So very interested there. Going to keep tabs on that.
So can I bring something up though as to the player development that Lopez was talking about?
Yeah.
Do you guys think if like more colleges were to invest in their soccer programs like they do football programs, do you think obviously some of these players grow up in the academy and they get into the first team, but there's also 3 rounds of an MLS draft. How can we get like, because obviously the NFL, all their players are come from college, like
Right.
they get drafted. You have great players. Like how can the MLS how can the US make it so a lot of these players come in for the draft and do something per se? Because like in my head, I can't think of like somebody like that has been super amazing and came from the MLS draft, but I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I don't. No, you're bringing up a good point because that is something that I've wanted to kind of get into because I know the soccer season hasn't started yet. Like the college soccer season hasn't started yet. It is something that I want us to get into. I would love to get into more, but that's a good question, bro. Honestly, like I think, bringing up that talent like through universities is definitely needed. I believe last year's winners were Vermont that won the NCAA Cup. But yeah, I think it needs to be a little better for sure. I don't know. I need to dig into it, so I don't know.
I derailed this a little bit by bringing this up, but I think it's a little bit more of the chicken and the egg situation with this specifically because there needs to be enough money for colleges to say like, hey, it makes sense to start investing into these programs, right? Because the money's there. Like the amount of money that these like college football programs like bring in, like there is enough to go around, right? Like let's be so for real. And especially with all the money that is now coming in from all these brand deals, and the money is there to be able to invest, but I feel like colleges won't do so until they see the popularity continue to grow to a point where it's worth the investment into their soccer teams, their collegiate soccer teams. And all we can hope, man, is that the MLS's popularity continues to grow, that these kids that are coming up right now that are soccer fans remain soccer fans, and then they teach their kids to be soccer fans. So then at one point 10, 20, 30, 40 years down the road, maybe like these collegiate programs can have their own stadiums and it'd be like this really cool thing. But I don't know, I think the money needs to be there before college does that, and I think that popularity has to like precede that.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think we can definitely get into that too as that kind of season comes about. So we'll definitely kind of keep touching on that. We'll kind of keep discussing kind of the road to the MLS or the road to Division I soccer coming from a small U10 team. You know what I mean? Like that would be something super cool to discuss. So we'll keep tabs on it though for sure. Very good, interesting thoughts there. So love to see that. Let's go ahead and go into the last little headline here. I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of these transfers coming up and about. The ones that are obviously top of mind are going to be the one with Thomas Mueller, with Matt Turner, and with Son Heung-min. Very interesting. I think we've kind of touched on these a little bit here in the previous episodes. The one I think I'm very interested to see how this one works out is specifically with Thomas Mueller. If you guys don't know who this guy is, the guy's won 13 Bundesliga trophies, 2 Champions Leagues, 2 Club World Cups, 6 Pokal Cups, and then he is a FIFA World Cup winner that from the year 2014 with Germany. The guy is obviously very decorated, probably one of the more decorated players, to ever play. But I'm interested to kind of see how he plays with Vancouver. These guys did pull a bit of like a DePaul / Inter Miami to kind of get him here. He's going to be like a TAM player, and then they're going to make him a DP in the next season. But I'm a little curious how they're going to use him, because I feel, and maybe I'm wrong, is he more of like a central mid?
I believe he plays more as a center attacking mid right now, as he's gotten older. For Germany, he was one of their goal score. Like when he plays for Germany, he's one of the people they rely on to score goals, because he has 10 goals for Germany in 4 World Cups, and he actually won the silver ball in 2010. But from what I know, he hasn't been playing as much for Bayern recently. But when he does play, because when he was younger, he was playing a bit more on the wing. They had him there, but right now he's more of a center attacking mid. Like obviously he is in the midfield, but he plays more of an attacking role in the team. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he fits in, because I feel like if they put him in the middle, it'll be somewhat crowded with Berhalter and Kubas there. So that's a bit interesting. But if they do put him up top, I mean, like you mentioned, he was playing right wing or right wing or something when he was younger. Maybe they threw him up there. Maybe they throw him up like kind of up top with White. I don't know. I'll be very interested to see how this team leverages him and kind of sees how they can use him to kind of open up space and kind of see how he can score more goals for him. But I don't know. I think hopefully it's only just a positive, but that was the one I was kind of looking at. Any others from the Sun, maybe the Turner transfers that you guys are looking into?
Sun jersey, baby. Reportedly, right, though, like the biggest, like it's an MLS record deal for Sun. It's for my boy out there from South Korea, joining LAFC. This has been rumored for a couple weeks now, right? So not really coming as too much of a shocking surprise. But sources confirmed that Sun is headed to LAFC for a fee of around $26 million. So that would break the mark of $22 million that Atlanta United spent to acquire Emmanuel Latela. But yeah, Son coming out here making some money in the process. I'll be excited to see him. How many years is he coming off of Tottenham? 10 years, right? Had a whole legacy.
Tottenham Hotspurs. Tottenham Hotspurs.
what do we think about Tottenham?
Put me in a spot like that, bro. It's gonna make me feel like that one time where I was on the phone and that one guy at the mall was chanting at me the Real Madrid chant. So I was like talking to my mom or something, and Fern was like, "That guy's talking to you," and I'm like, "Bro, I'm on the phone." Anyway, but Son coming after leaving Tottenham after 10 years. There he won a cup as recently, so he's leaving on a pretty high note there. So excited to see him and what he brings to the MLS. I don't know, man. Like it's always fun to see some of these superstars make their way over here to the States and just bring more hype with them. So the more players that come over, I'm excited to see what they do.
I'm just gonna have you read the subtitles. What they got these little kids what they got these little kids saying, bro.
But I'm saying, bro.
Yeah,
these players with your chants, bro, and the other fan bases.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, I'm excited to see that. I think we mentioned a couple of times before, like with the transfer window with LAFC, I would have hoped that they kind of, amplified the defense, but I love to see Sun and LAFC. I already think they have a fairly strong attack, but again, he's 33 years old. He's not like super old. Like I think he still got it. But yeah, I think he'll make a great addition. So I like him there.
I mean, in the past, I have talked about how they have Boanga, and plays more. He prefers being on the wing, and have been talking about how they needed like a central player. And Son has been playing striker for a few years for Tottenham. Obviously, Harry Kane was their number one striker, but if he had to miss a game, he'd step in as striker, be scoring goals. After he left, he was kind of like the main striker up until they got whoever they got recently and striker. But I mean, it's gonna be pretty crazy because I don't know. Do you guys know why Sun is a Mexican legend?
I believe it has something to do with the World Cup.
Because of Son Goku.
Yeah. So
I don't remember.
No, it was.
no. So
I think I know why, but go ahead.
was it? I believe it was the 2018 World Cup when Mexico beat Germany, and they were Germany, Poland, possibly, if I remember correctly. South Korea and Mexico were all in the same group, and Germany needed to lose for Mexico to get in, and Sun ended up scoring the last goal to put Mexico into the knockout rounds. But
And
Um,
the next day he was invited to the carne
Koreans
asada.
are honorary Mexicans in South Korea, bro, for showing out.
yeah, and I don't know if you know. I mean, I doubt Lopez knows. I'm pretty sure you know Reyes, but him and Lloris also played a few years out in Tottenham, so they're really good friends. So that probably had something to do with him choosing to come to the MLS over Saudi. But it'll.
I don't mean this to be like inconsiderate or rude. There's a player that plays for the Dodgers.
Shohei Ohtani.
Where's he from? Japan?
He's Japan. Yeah.
I thought he was from Korea. Never mind. I was gonna say maybe he had an influence too because he's gonna have homeboys in LA, but I thought he was Korean.
Shohei
My bad.
Ohtani, bro. I saw that man when I was out. He is on everything. Billboard, like that man has so many freaking brand deals out there.
Dude, yeah, he's legit though. He's so good.
Yeah.
Side tangent there, but
but yeah, like you said, defense is always great, but you know teams always expect to score. So, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully he does well. I'd love to see him. I'm pretty sure he'll come out to an RSL game, right? They play each other like once a year, home and away. So. Did they already play at home here? They did, right?
I think so. I don't remember, to be honest with you. They probably already did, but
yeah,
I don't
know the Galaxy did.
I don't believe it's confirmed when they're gonna be, when he's gonna start. So I don't know. I don't even know if it's the next week, the next couple weeks. So we'll see when.
I mean, if it's anything like DePaul, I'm pretty sure he's ready because, like we've said, like they're kind of coming off that he did have a couple preseason games that he played in, so he's probably like in shape to get ready and suited out there. So I don't know, it'll be exciting. Like we say, we always like seeing these big players we see coming to play in. Yeah. He always said he wouldn't leave Tottenham until he won a trophy, which I don't know if you know this or not, Lopez, but they hadn't won a trophy in 20 years or something like that. Yeah.
I know, it was wild. But yeah, man, that was a pretty interesting one. That one's obviously one that where when he comes, I'm sure a lot of jersey sales will happen, so that'll be super cool to see. One that, we're all gonna buy one. One that too, we won't get into this one too much either, but the Matt Turner returning to the MLS. I'm not sure if you know about this one, PZ, but a bit of an interesting situation because he technically, so he played for, he was bought by Arsenal, way back when. Then he was sold to, I believe, Nottingham Forest, right? And then from Nottingham Forest, he was sold to Lyon from France. Not sure if you heard this, PZ, but Lyon from France last season, there was some kind of conversations going on that they kind of did some things that they was not, like they couldn't do with the league. And so they were being like, hey, you guys did some malpractice, financial malpractice. You guys are going to be relegated to to League 2 in Italy, right? Long story short, France, correct. Long story short, they did some stuff here and there. They moved some numbers around. They moved some people around, got some money, no longer being relegated, I believe. And in light of that, they were trying to like terminate Matt Turner's contract and saying like, yo, we can't sign you because we obviously don't have money. We're going to get relegated, yada, yada, yada. Legally, they couldn't do that. So what they did was, why don't we just loan him out? And so they decided, I believe, to loan him out to New England to kind of get that whole thing situated. But then I believe not too long ago, something came out to where they're no longer being relegated and this whole thing kind of went down. So now he's still coming to New England, I believe. I'm pretty sure. Does that sound correct, Fern? Because I believe that's what happened.
Yeah, so it says Olympique Leones a prominent French football club has won its appeal against relegation from League One to League Two, securing their place in the top division for upcoming season. For the upcoming season, the club was initially relegated by French football's financial watchdog, DNCG. It's apparently because they had a debt of 175 million, but they appealed it, and like you said, they were moving around their finances just to be able to show more financial stability with what it is. Because I don't know, I'm pretty sure we've talked about it with you before, Lopez, but like obviously there's no cap when spending money in Europe, but there are still rules. Like you can't spend more than you're profiting. Like if you're making $1 billion, you can't spend $1.1 billion on players because they obviously still want their teams. Yeah. So, but yeah, they weren't doing very well. So, but now they're fine. They got rid of their most expensive goalkeeper, Matt Turner. I'm just kidding. I don't know if that's true or not. But yeah.
Yeah, so he'll be back with New England. He played for New England, I believe, before, like for very early days. So he's kind of like a returning home type of a deal. So good for Matt Turner. Hopefully, we'll kind of see him. Maybe they'll get into the playoffs. We'll see. We'll see what happens with New England.
He made 102 appearances for the New England Revolution between 2016 and 2022.
Ah, very nice. Yeah,
and and then he went to Arsenal from 22 to 23, like you said, and
Nottingham Forest. Nice. Very nice. Okay, cool. So solid stuff there, boys. We'll kind of be done with the topics there with the headlines. There is some MLS action this upcoming weekend. So there are some games on Saturday as well as Sunday. Let's kind of look at these. I just want to point out one. We're kind of getting over on time here. So let's kind of look into this. This is the Saturday slot. August 9th, MLS back in action. Some of these teams obviously are going to have to compete for the Leagues Cup, potentially going to compete for the Leagues Cup in the following weeks. But nonetheless, for this Saturday, one game that you're kind of looking at, what kind of stands out to you guys from the Saturday slot? Saturday's probably not as amazing as Sunday, but just to kind of look at some of these. What stands out to you guys?
I feel like if there's not two bad teams, it's very one-sided in my opinion, at least from this Saturday lineup. Like if you look at this bottom three, it's Nashville, San Diego, and Vancouver versus like three pretty bad teams. But if I had to pick one that I think could be interesting, would be the Chicago Fire Los Angeles FC game. I feel like they're both in the same tier that we've from last week that we talked about, where they're not like super amazing. They're both like mid-table teams. So we'll see how it goes. Obviously LAFC is going to try and do what they can to get farther up on that. They're 2 games behind, so they can get up to at least 4th. But they're going to try and do as much as they can to climb up the ladder so they don't have to worry too much later on into the season with it almost coming to an end. You want to have a little bit of a gap going into the playoffs so you can make a few mistakes, bench a few key players so you're not fighting to get into the playoffs right before the playoffs, so your players aren't too tired. So
for sure, solid situation for Sun to kind of walk into for sure with this LAFC team. So I like that for sure. PZ, you got anything on there?
Sorry, I was just muted. Nothing else to really add. I agree with Fern. It's pretty one-sided on most of these games. Look at Philly Union versus Toronto. Short and sweet. Looking at the Chicago Fire versus LAFC game as well.
Yeah, looks good too. There is a bit of a battle of the cheeks up here. Montreal, Atlanta. Can Atlanta beat Montreal and get a win? Jeez Louise, are they not doing very good? 13th versus 15th.
If Montreal beats Atlanta, they'll take up their position because they're tied. They'd be tied in points, and they'd have the win over them. So
yeah, that'll be rough. I think that's the battle of the cheeks for sure, right there on Saturday. So that'll be an interesting one to also kind of keep an eye on. But then for Sunday night soccer, we haven't done that in a minute. We have and correct me again, you mentioned this one, but I believe it's called El Clásico del Sol.
Yes, sir.
Orlando versus Inter Miami. A classic. Boys, a rivalry game here. on Sunday. I believe this will probably be the one that everybody talks about for this upcoming weekend. But for me, that's what stands out. That's the one I'm also looking into. Going to be a hot game. Going to be super exciting. Again, Eastern Conference just absolutely hot. Very, very interesting here. 5th place versus 6th place. 1 point from each other. Obviously, Inter Miami having a lot of games that they need to make up, so it's maybe not as close, but still, it's a rivalry game. Very close in the table right now. Should be a fun one to watch.
Yeah. I doubt Messi's gonna play. He'll probably play this last Leagues Cup game. They have one last game, if I saw correctly.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure he'll want to play that game just to guarantee that they go into the next round, because it's only the top 4, right? Top 4 teams.
Correct.
And if they don't win that game, if they, they get 2 points, so they have a good chance of going through. But you want to get those 3 points just to be 100% sure. And it's against Puma, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. So I think for sure Messi will play that game. Depending on how he's looking, I doubt he'll play this Sunday game. Worst case scenario, if he doesn't play Wednesday, I can see him playing Sunday. But depending on his availability, I'd probably say this will be a pretty close game. If Messi plays, give me Inter Miami. If Messi doesn't play, give me Inter Miami. Yeah, I think it'll be pretty close if Messi doesn't play. But although Orlando hasn't been the best. And really quick, while I'm speaking, I was just reading into it. Sun could sign as early as Tuesday, have a presentation by Wednesday, and possibly play by Saturday. But we'll see. Wow. But he's supposedly already here in the U.S. signing the paperwork.
Nice. Just getting that mansion in place, bro. Go to Walmart and rack up the bill, dude. Nice, solid. One that you're looking at?
Obviously, that's going to be one to watch. FC Cincinnati is always fun to watch versus Charlotte FC, but again, FC Cincinnati is looking red hot as of late. Charlotte's not as red hot, but I don't know. That's just one that, for whatever reason, caught my eyes. They're still 7th, right? Like we talked about, the East are beasts, but Charlotte maybe could pull off an upset. I don't know. I'm still going to go with FC Cincinnati on that one, but could be a fun game to watch. Just caught my eye.
Yeah, for sure. No, they're both doing pretty well. FC Cincinnati obviously being second in the East. Charlotte haven't lost a game in 5 games, but also have won their last 4, so they're doing pretty solid. Maybe not the same case with Leagues Cup, but solid game nonetheless. So full slate Saturday and Sunday, boys. Going to be very interesting to see how the Leagues Cup affects the MLS regular season, and then we're off to the races, boys. I believe there's 9-10 weeks left to kind of cap off the season, and then we get into the playoffs, and we'll kind of see what happens in the postseason. So, any final words from you, boys? Anything else to comment on?
Dang, I went to go see when the last game was for the MLS, but it's not until October, so I was like, dang, we still got some time. Yeah. But yeah, no, it'll be nice to have some MLS games. This Leagues Cup has been very exciting. But hopefully you guys are enjoying what we're doing. Dropping some comments on the socials, letting me know about my ball knowledge, and giving some likes. So yeah, thank you guys.
RSL's winning it all. Mark my words.
If RSL wins it all, I'm gonna get a huge RSL tattoo on my back.
Go back on this now.
Dude,
RSL, please.
You
please,
can't go back.
Please.
RSL pros, you guys heard that? He gonna get it tatted. He gonna get tatted. You guys are gonna be there. You guys gonna make sure that he doesn't go back on this word. So, gonna be exciting. But yes, again, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for the follows, for the likes, for the comments. Again, we are on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Give us a follow, give us a subscribe, like, share, all the above. Again, this has been the Crack Soccer Podcast, episode number 25. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.